session, yeah? So have a pen handy, have a pad handy. You're going to write things down. You're going to interact in the chat as well. Live on YouTube, your recordings, what you write will be recorded, yeah? So it's a great idea to chip in, do the tasks, write in responses along the way. If you're not going to type them in, then write them on a piece of paper, because you are going to need to take notes during this session, and you're going to have to work out how to do that, because we're going to cover most of the speaking tasks in this session. So we're going to become familiar with what they are, and we're going to do a bit of practice as well. And by doing it, you'll become familiar with them, yeah? You can't go wrong. You can make as many mistakes as you need to, because we're going to get better as we go on. All right. First up is we've got a 25% Black Friday sale. It's been extended, so use the code Friday25 if you're going to buy into the learning arrangement that we've organised for you, which is videos, live classes, tutorials, recorded sessions, practice tasks, assessments. It's a fantastic program we've got here at E2 Language. So please have a look at what it is afterwards, and you can take 25% off if you use the code Friday25. It's your lucky day. That's a huge saving, by the way, isn't it? Okay, so let's get started. A little bit of an introduction to what we do at E2 Language. We do practice tasks. So all the tasks of the PTE are on the platform, and you get to practice them and then get some graded feedback as well. You can practice all your skills. That's listening, reading, writing, and speaking. You can practice a mock test. So as you get closer to test day, you practice a mock test to give yourself an idea about how well you're going to do on test day, because you'll get an indicative score and some critical feedback to improve your skills. Today's class, we're going to look at methods, do some vocabulary practice, practice some note taking, and also do most of the speaking tasks. Now, let's have a look at them. There are 7 speaking tasks now, yeah? Read aloud, repeat sentence, describe image, retell lecture, answer short question, summarize group discussion, and respond to situation. The tasks we're going to do in this session are the first 5. The last 2 are the new tasks, summarize group discussion, respond to a situation. You can access those if you subscribe to the platform and access the videos that are on the platform. We're going to nail the methods for those first 5 in this session. There are 32 to 40 questions, which means that each test is different. It's configured differently. Your test is not the same as somebody else's. And that way you can prepare, but you can't be absolutely certain the number of tasks that don't happen on the day. But if you have a look at it, read aloud, there'll be 6 or 7, repeat sentence, 10 or 12, describe image, 5 or 6, 2 or 3 retell lectures, 5 to 6 answer short questions, 2 to 3 summarize group discussions, and 2 to 3 respond to a situation. You'll see that they are all timed. So that means that in speaking, as it is in listening, the task has a set and finite amount of time. So read aloud, the task will move on after 40 seconds, repeat sentence after 15 seconds, describe image after 40 seconds, retell lecture after 40 seconds, 10 seconds short answer question, 2 minutes summarize group discussion, 40 seconds respond to a situation. So you don't need to move on. It will automatically move on for you. And that is the limited amount of time you've got for each task. And that is part of the challenge in the more complex tasks. All good? Take a screenshot if you need to. They are the tasks. You will become familiar with them, yeah? Okay, grab your phone. If you want to record yourself during this session, it's a brilliant idea. So hear what you sound like and get used to how little time you've got to do some of these tasks and how you're going to fit the information in that finite amount of time. Read alouds. We love read alouds. Now, the reason we love read alouds is because you get to read, practice pronunciation, forming sounds in a rhythm, stopping at the full stops, pausing at the commas, and making meaningful sense of what you're reading. So it's an excellent task to get very good at. Easy points to score as well. This is what it looks like. You'll have instructions, a counter. Pardon me, I've got a cough. Pardon me, I hope you haven't got it. Read aloud text, and the instructions are to look at the text below and in 40 seconds, read the text aloud as naturally and as clearly as possible. You have 40 seconds to read aloud. So in preparation, you're going to read the text and read out the words that are difficult to pronounce before you have to do it while you're being recorded. Then read at a moderate pace. Read the phrases, so adjectives, Articles, adjectives, nouns are chunked together. Don't pause while you're reading, except at the comma and stopping at the full stop. So the aim is to get to the full stop. And one clever notion is that your lungs are full of air while you read. So you start with a full set of lungs, full set of air, so you can get to the full stop without pausing unnaturally during the sentence. Remember, the idea is to create meaning from what you're reading for your listener, which in this case is the AI who's going to record your response. Pause appropriately and read with meaning. Don't pause for more than 3 seconds if you make a sound, or it will cut off. Don't hesitate or ah. So if you're umming and ahhing while you're reading, stop doing it. Don't correct yourself. Don't leave anything else, and don't read everything out. Don't read too quickly. Yep. You'll be marked for content, fluency, and pronunciation, which is the same for all the speaking tasks. It's good to know that. Content, the words, oral fluency, the way that you maintain fluency without hesitating or repeating, and pronunciation, it sounds like native English sounds, which you're going to get very good at by identifying which ones you have difficulty with and improving. 6 to 7 of these, 35 to 40 seconds for each one. Are you ready? Now, you've got 40 seconds to prepare. So I'm going to show you what to do in that preparation time. Is we read through. So there's so much that is possible in Lagos. Is it Lagos? Yeah. And so much that isn't. And very often the difference between possibility and impossibility is simply who you are. And if you're lucky enough, who you're connected to. Yep. So we're reading out loud while we're practicing. Belonging in Lagos is a fluid concept determined by ethnic origin, sexual orientation, gender, but most visibly and often most violently, class. Wow. Okay. All right. So we prepared ourselves with the nature of the task. We've got an idea about what it's about and the difficult words. Now you're going to have a go at reading aloud. Are you ready? Go. Whoops, that didn't work. All right, go. Okay, how did you go? Hopefully not too hard. So this is what it might sound like. There is so much that is possible in Lagos and so much that isn't. And very often the difference between possibility and impossibility is simply who you are. And if you're lucky enough, who you're connected to. Belonging in Lagos is a fluid concept determined by ethnic origin, sexual orientation, gender, but most visibly and often most violently class. Now, the words that are stressed there are the content words, which are generally nouns, things, verbs, actions, adjectives, adverbs, and negatives. Great. So what the words that we stressed that will contain the information are those things, actions, and descriptions, because the other words in between are grammar words that link those content words together. So when you're reading, you're going to stress those words more than others in order to create meaning for your listener. And remember, it's about the listener. Now you can see the rhythms and the pauses there. They come at the commas and at the full stops. Okay, so we get good at it. All right, we're going to do another one. All right, so you're preparing, yep, for 40 seconds, and then you're going to read aloud. All right, so while you're preparing, you're identifying the difficult words, you're seeing them. On your screen in front of you, you might be able to zoom in. Work out words you haven't seen before. Pronounce them out loud. Perhaps try them 3 times. Hokkaido, 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 Hokkaido. Cretaceous, skeletal. Yep, the difficult words. Amateur, paleontologists. All right, now you've got your tongue around all of those. Your turn to read aloud. Phrasing. Sorted? Okay, good work. During a walk near a reservoir in a small Japanese town, two amateur collectors made the discovery of their lives, the first and oldest fossil bird ever identified in their country. After sharing their find with paleontologists at Hokkaido University, they learned the skeletal remains from the late Cretaceous period belonged to a marine diving bird rarely found in Asia. Awesome. Hope you did well. Repeat sentence, task 2. Okay, here we go. This is what it looks like. The method is to listen. Now, you're going to listen for phrases. Yep, you're going to hear a question and give it. You're going to. Don't read those instructions; they're wrong. What you're going to do is you're going to hear a sentence and you're going to repeat it. You're going to hear the first half and then the second half and put them together. You're going to create meaning from what you've heard. Listen to the way the speaker says the sentences. Yep, and then speak clearly and naturally. Aim to say the sentences in a similar way to the speaker. Don't correct yourself, just keep going. Content, fluency, and pronunciation, 10 to 12 of these in 15 seconds to respond. Here's the first one. Are you ready? Going to listen, understand, and repeat. So focus, listen, and repeat. Here we go. Here's the first one. You can close your eyes if you want.
Please make use of the Assignment Buddy service available at the university.
Now that wasn't easy, but here it is.
Please make use of the assignment. Please make use of the Assignment Buddy service available at the university.
Okay, sorry, that was please make use of the Assignment Buddy service available at the university. So we hear the two sections and we repeat them. Sometimes there are three. Here's the next one. Give it a go. Listening.
I've been using laptops since their inception.
Got that one? I've been using laptops since their inception. This is what she said.
I've been using laptops since their inception.
Makes sense, doesn't it, to listen to the first half, then the second half. Here's the third one.
Students enrolling in ancient history should attend the meeting at 10 a.m. tomorrow.
There it is again, here.
Students enrolling in ancient history should attend the meeting at 10 a.m. tomorrow.
Great. Hopefully you got it. So we focus, listen, and repeat, and sometimes close your eyes so you can concentrate on listening. That's 2 tasks. Yep. Easily done. Now we hit the hard ones, the challenging ones that everybody finds difficult, no matter what your level of English. All right. So this is what it looks like. You'll be given an image, which is what it is. You're going to describe it. In this case, it's a graph. And you're told to look at the graph in 25 seconds, speak into the microphone. In 25 seconds, which is the time you've got to prepare, please speak into the microphone and describe in detail what the graph is showing, and you'll have 40 seconds to give your response. So what that means is 25 seconds to prepare and 40 seconds to speak. But we've got to work out how we're going to divide the information up on the graph so that we can speak for 40 seconds and make sense of what we see. And we're going to learn that method. So the method is look at the title and x-axis. So cumulative podcasts listed on iTunes US June 27, 2007 to June 2015. That is the title. There is the x-axis. And we can see it goes from June 2007 each year, right up to June 2015. So we recognize the title and the x-axis. This is the y-axis, and we're going to stay out of the y-axis because what happens is we don't always know what those numbers mean or what the units are, and we end up in trouble in the middle of explaining it. So it's best to avoid. So look for information in the image, look for simple information. We call it simple, but what we're doing is looking for the lowest point, the highest point, and then one other, which might be the trend. The reason we do that is because it shows the range of data, which is what the AI rubric is listening for and identifying. So we've got all podcasts here, active and inactive, and active podcasts here. So we're looking for the information and we're going to make sense of it by identifying the low point, the high point, and one other, which will be a trend. Then we use the E2 language framework. So introduction, body and conclusion, like an essay. Introduction, this line graph, this bar chart, this pie chart, this image represents title and x-axis. Lowest, the least number of ... the highest number of ... Over the period, there was a steep increase from here to here. Yep. And then give a summary. We'll look at that language in a moment. Then give a sentence summary, a summary, a prediction, or a reason. So introduction, title x-axis, body, low point, high point, one other. Conclusion is the prediction. The prediction, reason, or summary. So the conclusion predicts what happens next, summarizes the information, or gives a reason why it happened. And that's the logical order or sequencing of ideas in response to this text. Speak clearly at a moderate pace. Keep speaking. Try to speak for 35 seconds. Try not to stop. Yep. Try to keep going with the framework in mind. Don't get too complicated. Don't wait, hesitate, or restart sentences to be marked for content, fluency, and pronunciation. There'll be 5 or 6 of these, which is a lot. 25 seconds to prepare, 40 seconds to speak. So when we're brainstorming some vocab for this kind of activity, we need to know things like the highest, peaked, peaking, a peak. So we're going to use adjectives, superlatives, comparatives. We're going to use verb tenses, and we're going to use adjectives. Yep, so we're going to describe adjectives with nouns and adverbs with verbs to describe points, places, static places, and trends, moving trends across the image. For example, remain steady, adjective noun. In a middle range, again, adjective noun. So we're looking at identifying the features of the graph and labeling them. The lowest temperatures, the lowest point, and again, something like, if I can see it, from January to December. So we're looking at January to December. We're looking at a high point up here, a high point up here, a low point here, the lowest point here, identifying the features or the graphic data and explaining both the static data and the trends. Okay, we're going to get good at it. So introduction, 4 to 5 seconds. Middle section, 30 seconds or so, 25, 30 seconds, and end one of these conclusions takes about 5 or 6 seconds. So let's listen to a model answer and read through at the same time, yeah? So eyes on the screen, ears on the audio.
The graph shows the climate for Boulder, Colorado from January to December. The highest temperatures are from June to August, peaking in July, while the lowest temperatures are in December, January, and February. Precipitation peaks in April and May and remains steady in a middle range from July through to September. The lowest rainfall occurs in December and January. In conclusion, it could be predicted that precipitation and rainfall patterns may change in response to climate change.
Okay, that's her guess, yeah? Based on the data that she could see. Now, she kept going and completed it. The most difficult part is the conclusion. You don't know what you're going to say until you've explained the rest of the image. Yep, but you get very good at it. So if you're struggling at the moment, don't worry, you will get better. Introduction, body, and conclusion. It's worthwhile taking a screenshot of that, having it on your computer, having it on your phone, and referring to it when you do the task. All good? Let's do one. So 25 seconds to prepare and then 40 seconds to speak, and then we'll look at a model answer. Give it your best shot. There are some clues on the screen. Away we go. Record yourself if you can. Okay. How did you go? Did you get to the end? It's always a challenge. All right. Something like this. Now we're going to listen to model answers and read because you're going to end up imitating and then producing model answers. Here we go.
This image shows rainfall and temperatures in Melbourne over the period of a year. The highest maximum temperatures occur in January and February, while the lowest occur in July and August. The lowest temperatures follow a similar pattern, peaking in January and February and falling to the lowest point in July. Rainfall occurs throughout the year, but it is heaviest in October and November. The city is at its driest during the winter months of June and July, and also in March. In conclusion, it can be seen that rainfall and temperature do not follow a similar pattern.
Okay, so she's describing or summarizing the information there in the conclusion. All good? Okay, now that is a very challenging task, and the way to get good at it is familiarity and practice. And really, they are the two words that will guide you through the whole test: is familiarity and practice. Everybody will tell you that who's been doing it a while is the answer was familiarity and practice. Okay, so don't worry if you're making errors and getting used to it. It's a learning environment that you're in. You're allowed to be struggling and you're allowed to want to get better and you're allowed to spend time practicing. Retell lecture is what it says. We're going to retell a lecture. Get ready to take notes. This is what it looks like. You'll hear a lecture. After listening to the lecture, in 10 seconds, you're going to speak into the microphone and retell what you've just heard from the lecture in your own words. You'll have 40 seconds to give your response. It's not long, so we're going to use a method. So the method is to use the image to stimulate an idea about what the text is going to be about. Listen carefully and note 6 to 8 keywords. Then when you speak, we're going to use the E2 language framework. Elaborate on your keywords that you noted. We'll look at that. Keep it simple and speak clearly at a moderate pace. Don't talk about the picture. Talk about what you heard. Don't comment on what you heard. Just rephrase it. Don't wait for more than 3 seconds. Don't and or don't restart sentences. Content fluency and pronunciation, you're going to be marked on. 2 to 3 questions. The text will be 60 to 90 seconds long, audio text, and then 10 seconds to prepare. So it's retell lecture. Here's the framework. The speaker was D discussing, he or she mentioned, M mentioned, described, talked about, discussed, suggested that. Oh, brilliant. We've got somebody from Kenya. Fantastic. You'll be amazed as to where people are who turn up at E2 language, and they genuinely are from everywhere, all around the globe. There's no place, there are those that VPN out of China. There's no place that we can't reach. If you've got access to a Wi-Fi and you've got a device, you can tune in. Brilliant. Welcome, everyone. Now, the framework again. Now, we're going to memorize it. And it goes like this. DMD TDS. DMD TDS. Now we write it down, and we actually write it down on test day as well on our pad. DMD TDS. Why? D discussing, M mentioned, D described, T talked about, D discussed, S suggested that. DMD TDS. Now we have to remember that. The way we remember it is to write it out a lot of times and then say it out loud a lot of times and then use it, because in the test you don't have time to think, you have to act. So you're going to act on what you've told yourself to do, which is to use the framework DMD TDS. What's discussing, mentioned, talked about, discussed, suggested that. Discussing, mentioned, described, talked about, discussed, suggested that. All right. Now we're going to practice note-taking first. So on our pad, we're going to write DMD TDS, yeah, which we physically do on our pad, because on test day, you will have a pad to write on. DMD TDS. Then we take short notes, keywords and key phrases, yeah? 2 or 3 words where possible. We can use abbreviations and symbols as well. We predict what the text is going to be about by looking at the image. Yeah, it's going to be about rubbish on a beach or floating up, or a city in the large village in the background. It's going to be about rubbish or waste, as a guess, and probably coming up by the sea. Pollution is what it's going to be about. We're going to listen, understand, and then write down notes as you go. Now, the notes are there to prompt your memory, because you're going to speak. It's a speaking task those notes in this framework. Okay, so imagine you've just listened and you use the notes to retell the lecture. Yep, so the speaker was discussing pollution, and in particular, plastic pollution. He mentioned how a large number of beaches have become dirty where they were once clean, and described that the effect on fish is to kill them. He talked about how fish dying has become a major problem in oceans around the world, and discussed how the effect of fish dying has had an impact on the tourist market in many countries. He suggested that we need to devise methods to urgently to clean up this pollution. Now, we've never heard the lecture, but from the notes, we can recreate the lecture, knowing that's the framework and they're the key notes. Yep. So, ready to listen and take notes? Look at the picture, predict what it's going to be about. This one is a short text of about 30, 40 seconds long. We're going to hear and note the key words to see how it's done before we do one task. All right, let's get going. All right, so listen, DMD, TDS, and take notes.
I wanted to be an astronaut when I was a little kid, but growing up in Canada as a young girl, that wasn't really available to me. But as it turns out, we know a lot more about space than we do about the underground waterways coursing through our planet, the very lifeblood of Mother Earth. So I decided to do something that was even more remarkable. Instead of exploring outer space, I wanted to explore the wonders of inner space. Now, a lot of people will tell you that cave diving is perhaps one of the most dangerous endeavors.
All right, okay, so what notes might we have taken? Something like this. Yep, short notes summarizing ideas, the major ideas of the lecture. How did we know when to take notes? Well, we started straight away and we listened to the speaker introducing new ideas. Yep, and we wrote them down. Now, we wrote down content words, nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. Yep, used abbreviations where we needed to. Yay, brilliant. We've got Zimbabwean and also, yay, Colombia. Wow, we love it. So we love people from Africa because we just think that's amazing that we're reaching that part of the world and you're reaching into our part of the world over here. And the world is your world. So welcome to it. And Colombia, fantastic. So we're recognized, we've got Nairobi, Colombia, and Zimbabwe. So fantastic. Good luck with the tests coming up. Yep. And the idea is that we practice, we become familiar by turning up and practice. Awesome. Best of luck, everyone. All right, we're going to do a full Retell lecture. Okay, so in it, there's a sequence of preparation, listening and taking notes, preparing again, and then speaking for 40 seconds. I highly recommend you take notes and practice during this time to give yourself a chance to develop the skills you need. Okay, so don't be shy. Over to you. Here we go.
There are capacities of the human mind that we tend to think are capacities only of the human mind. But is that true? What are other beings doing with those brains? What are they thinking and feeling? Is there a way to know? I think there is a way in. I think there are several ways in. We can look at evolution, we can look at their brains, and we can watch what they do. The first thing to remember is our brain is inherited. The first neurons came from jellyfish. Jellyfish gave rise to the first chordates. The first chordates gave rise to the first vertebrates. The vertebrates came out of the sea, and here we are. But it's still true that a neuron, a nerve cell, looks the same in a crayfish, a bird, or you. What does that say about the minds of crayfish? Can we tell anything about that? Well, it turns out that if you give a crayfish a lot of little tiny electric shocks every time it tries to come out of its burrow, it will develop anxiety. If you give the crayfish the same drug used to treat anxiety disorder in humans, it relaxes and comes out and explores. How do we show how much we care about crayfish anxiety? Mostly, we boil them.
Okay, so preparing your notes, again, there to prompt your memory. When you hear the bell, keep speaking for 40 seconds. Okay, how did you go? Did you get it in that time? And that's the idea, is to work out how little time there is. There's 40 seconds to retell the lecture. So you're going to work out how long your sentences are and how much information you can put in. So when we look at the model answer, we can see how long the sentences are before we move on. Yep. So, and really it is fact, 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 fact. Yep. It's not too fancy. It's describing or retelling the information we heard. Let's have a listen.
There are capacities of the human mind that we...
Yep, not that one, this one.
The speaker was discussing the capacities of the human mind. He asked about how we can know what other beings are feeling and doing. He mentioned that our brain was inherited and the first brain neurons, in fact, came from jellyfish. He discussed how the first vertebrates came from the sea and that our neurons remain the same to look at. He suggested that crayfish suffer anxiety like humans and are relaxed by antidepressants, similar to humans as well, implying that our brains react in a like manner in some ways.
Okay, and that's how we summarize the main ideas. Now, you're going to get good at it because summarizing is a brilliant skill. You're going to retell the lecture, the facts that you wrote, paraphrasing and using synonyms as you deliver your response. All good? Yeah, now I understand there's a question here. Let me see if I can find it. Yes, so on test day, what you're given is known as an erasable pad, which is a pad that's got a plastic coating on it, so you can write and rub off what you've written on it. But what you can do is turn the page and also ask for another one when you run out. Yeah, so what you get good at with the PTE is working out what notes to take, how to use the pad, and that takes skill. So, and you need to repeat the skill in order to develop it because it doesn't happen by itself. So yes, you'll be given a pad and a pen, an erasable pad. Okay, now answer short question. This is what this looks like. You're going to hear a question. Please give a simple and short answer. Often just one or a few words is enough. Listen, focus, speak clearly and naturally, and don't use complete sentences. And it affects both your speaking and your listening score. 1 point for each correct answer. You can get good at this by practicing listening to quiz shows. Okay, are you ready? Here's the first one. Remember, you're going to speak it out loud because it's a speaking task. Here we go.
What is generally put on top of a saucer?
Did we get it? Okay. A tea or coffee or cup. A teacup, coffee cup, cup, or a cup. Okay. Any of those would have done. Next one.
What is the name of the position which is said to be the most powerful in American politics?
President or the president. Yep, we knew that, didn't we? Okay. And finally, the last one.
What do you put on your foot before you put on your shoe?
Said foot, not feet. A sock. Wow, socks is included as well. How can you put your socks on a foot? Anyway, I would say put a sock or sock, but socks was acceptable as well. All right, now Our little session for those 5 events is over. There are, of course, 2 more, and you can access those off the platform. If you want to enroll, subscribe, join the system in order to accelerate your learning, and I highly recommend it. So in that case, if you're aiming for 90, if you're aiming for 79 and above, yep, today you would have scored 90 out of 102 in order to be able to achieve that, yeah? 74 out of 102 to achieve 65, or 57 and above to score 50. Now, if you're having difficulty, you're going to identify where those areas are. Are they content? Do we need more vocabulary? Yep. Do we need to be able to establish links and relationships? Do we need to listen more to more podcasts and audio inputs? Pronunciation, do we need to read aloud more? Do we need to understand the phonetic chart? Do we need to identify which sounds you can make clearly and which sounds you need to improve? And with fluency, are you being able to speak without hesitating, without pausing, and ahhing, or signaling that you're thinking? How do we get good at that? Well, you can practice from the platform, yeah? Do the tasks, record yourself, get feedback. Learn the skills across all the test tasks in order to become familiar and as good as you can be on test day, which is approaching expert. Register and join our live classes. So turn up, and participate. You don't have to be seen. You can be doing what you need to be doing while you're studying. Yep, at the time that suits you, at the time that you can find is available for you. And we also have some pre-recorded classes, and we have recorded classes of the live classes. So see what's available there. Take a mock test, which is to give yourself a chance to experience the whole test before test day. And if you're already enrolled, upgrade so you can take advantage of the tutorials, the group classes, more live classes, and the mock test with teacher feedback. The one-to-one tutorials are 45 minutes long, and we focus on what you want to do in that 45 minutes. You ask questions, and we set out to improve your skills ready for test day. The group classes are awesome. They're small, and sometimes you are the only one in them. So if you want a bargain price class, turn up to the PTE group small classes. And there's 25% off everything if you use the code Friday25. All right, I'm glad you guys were here experiencing the 5 of the 7 speaking tasks. I look forward to seeing you in another live class soon, and perhaps seeing you on YouTube and seeing you in a live class soon. Now, be prepared. Write comments about if you enjoyed the session, if it was useful for you, if you're going to turn up again, if you're going to bring your friends. Write something in the chat box or the YouTube, in the comments section, so that we can read it and others can read it too and be inspired to study to improve their grades for the test. Now, it was a pleasure having you here at our free live class, and looking forward to seeing you turning up the next ones, which are coming up soon. Take care, keep studying hard, and good luck. Bye for now.